thinking half of the whole thought. Season 1, Episode 1, A Whole Lot of Coins. Pilot. By Brian Fredworm McGregor. Myself, Denzel, and my mate Mitch, well, we were two kids who lived on the same block, but who led and lived completely different lives as such, and in many ways at that. One of us had money, the other didn't. One lived with our parents, the other didn't. One of us had everything and the other didn't. Despite everything, we were best pals, and we would meet up in the same car lot when it was very late at night under a large streetlight and play coiny, unbeknown to anyone. We were, for the want of better words, on different sides of one fence, yet still the same field, so to speak. I guess it was gambling such, where the closest coin to the curb won the lot, but we were kids, you know. Here, me and Mitch would discuss everything. We were teenagers and full of carry-on, full of life. However, we were well matched at throwing coins and full of ourselves also. Mitch, my mate, always carried coins from abroad, usually worthless in terms of being used here in this country. However, he always had the smarter answer to my rather what could be called ropey questions. The last question to him one night, that one last night I saw him in fact, was, if you have nothing to lose, what can be lost? Well, he shook his head in answer, smiling, with his hand covering his mouth somewhat. You know, even when all is apparently lost, there's still plenty that's not been thought of to lose. He threw each coin closer and closer to that curb, but I won, at which point he then says, you see, I have more coins in my pocket than I can lose, but I will lose them in the future, and I hadn't thought of that until now. I then say, so Mitch, you think you're always going to beat me at this? He replies in a smart answer as ever, well, we share the same winnings, and we are the only two players playing, before smiling radiantly. I just smile back and gaze at the curb with a knowing stare. And so we continue playing when Mitch says, so Denzel, if I wasn't here, who would win then? I reply, well, I always win anyway, so nothing would change. Mitch just smiled, adding, that's a spirit, before coughing loudly. He then at this point asked me for all the winnings, which I gave to him, and which he returned to myself in a high denomination coin, and yes, one from a different country, again. Oh, and he gave me this single coin as a tip, as he called it, because what I gave him and what he returned didn't add up. I never saw him again after that night. Now I'm 70, that car lot has been updated, but it's exactly the same, just newer lights and on occasion new tar too. I still stand at that same place we played coiny as kids, then realise it's best never to turn your back on your pals, as they might be gone one day, which would come with great regret. Mitch never lived past his teens, at least in the physical realms, but he taught me even where and when money is spent, some things live on, and whilst yet also he is gone a long time ago, I still have that last coin he played with after all these years, which, as per usual, was from abroad, which is now definitely worthless and not even legal tender anywhere at all. And so, whilst money can be used, your pals cannot. While money can be replaced, your mates won't be. And just like paper money, trust can be torn into pieces, and the tear will still be seen, no matter how well it's repaired. He never told me he was unwell, let alone having not long to live, as we only saw each other once a week. He passed 6 days later, unbeknown to me. can of course replace this coin. I cannot replace him. Good people come and go, which is true, but they should not be disrespected. And I keep this coin knowing we did neither to each other. And whilst he won this money, he gave it to me. Not because it's worthless, or because it had worth, but rather I was worth it. That last note he wrote, which he left for me on one, strangely enough, in small writing was, one of us will likely live with everything, the other will probably die with nothing. But between us, our times together really meant something. I know we spent no money or any of our lives' best times apart until we couldn't spend any of either together, but we will still both be rich, in a sense, come what may. And whilst the fence on that field is still there, it's now going to be a different fence that will separate us. You can neither see through nor look over this one. Goodbye. Mitch, 1966.